If you've ever wondered what the inspiration behind some of the most terrifying monsters in cartoons was, you've come to the right place. Buckle up, folks, because it's gonna be quite a ride. Kicking off our list, we have the Boogey Man from the real Ghostbusters. Though the series was full of creepy creatures, the Boogey Man's grotesque appearance and maniacal laugh truly made our skin crawl. On top of that, his ability to turn into a swarm of rats and control people's minds added an extra layer of terror. The Boogey Man is a character that has been used in various forms of media for centuries. Originally, the Boogey Man was depicted as a mythical creature used to scare children into behaving. Now, if you were a child and you saw the Boogey Man, let me know what you would be doing, because I personally think I would pass away. However, in the real Ghostbusters, the Boogey Man was given a new twist as a malevolent ghost with supernatural powers. Throughout the series, the Boogey Man is portrayed as a cunning and manipulative being. He preys on people's fears and uses his mind control abilities to make them do his bidding. This adds an element of psychological horror to the character, making him even more terrifying than just his physical appearance. Now, what makes the Boogey Man stand out among other ghosts and monsters in the series is his connection to childhood fears. As mentioned earlier, the Boogey Man has been a popular figure used by parents to instill fear in misbehaving children. By bringing this character into the real Ghostbusters, the show tapped into a common fear shared by many, making the Boogey Man all the more relatable and terrifying. Physically, descriptions of the Boogey Man vary widely, with some common elements like claws or talons and sharp teeth. Many cultures imagine this character in the form of a spirit, with demons, witches, and many other legendary characters also serving as variations. Some descriptions even include animalistic features like horns, hooves, or a bug-like appearance. In terms of personality, the Boogey Man can generally be classified into 3 categories: the one who punishes misbehaving children, the one who tends towards violence, and the protector of the innocent. All these categories are united by their common function of teaching lessons to young children. The majority of Boogey Man figures mainly aim to scare children with threats of punishment rather than causing actual harm. The more vicious Boogey Man is said to kill children at night, sometimes even eating them or committing other violent acts. Finally, there's the Boogey Man who safeguards the people, delivering punishment only to those deserving, regardless of their age. Next, we're taking a trip into the mystical world of Hayao Miyazaki's Spirited Away. If you haven't guessed already, we're talking about the enigmatic and unsettling character, No Face. This shadowy figure, almost phantom-like, sends shivers down the spine. One of the most eerie aspects of No Face is not just its appearance, but its horrifying ability to consume others and assimilate their identities. It's as if it's a living, breathing nightmare, a chilling embodiment of identity theft that stays with you long after the credits roll. Stick around as we delve into the intricacies of this character and explore the symbolic meanings behind No Face's actions. No Face's character is a prime example of how animated films can often have deeper meanings and commentary on society. In Spirited Away, No Face represents the dangers of greed and consumerism, as it becomes an insatiable monster after being exposed to the lavish and materialistic world of Yubaba's bathhouse. But there are also other theories that No Face's appearance and actions parallel mental health issues, such as depression or dissociative identity disorder. Its initial loneliness and desire for attention can be seen as a cry for help, while its consumption of others could represent the destructive effects of mental illness on relationships. Regardless of the interpretation, No Face is a complex and thought-provoking character that adds depth to an already captivating film. As the story progresses, we see glimpses of No Face's vulnerability and desire for connection, making its actions even more unsettling. No Face is not just a spooky character in Spirited Away, but a manifestation of societal issues and inner turmoil. Its inclusion in the film elevates it from being a simple children's movie to a work of art that can be analyzed and appreciated by audiences of all ages. So next time you watch Spirited Away, take a moment to reflect on the symbolism behind No Face and its impact on the story. Up next, Him. In the animated series The Powerpuff Girls, the character of Him is portrayed as an enigmatic, immensely potent, androgynous, and timeless demonic figure. He has lobster claws, pointed ears, plump black hair, sinister glowing green eyes, a pronounced nose, and a spit-curled goatee. His attire involves makeup, including elongated eyelashes on each eyelid, rosy cheeks, and black lipstick, a woman's red jacket with pink tulle at the collar and hemline, tight red trousers, and black thigh-high boots with spiked bike heels. Honestly, that was kind of a slay look for him. He closely represents the archetype of the devil in a children's show where his name could be an acronym of his infernal majesty. In the Demashita Powerpuff Girls Z version, him's portrayal is different, yet his androgynous demeanor remains. He is characterized with a harlequin-like theme, sporting yellow skin color, jester's hat, red tunic with a heart-shaped brooch. He wears contrasting striped stockings and Mary Jane shoes. While he still wears makeup, his voice continues to transform from a soft, feminine tone to loud and enraged. Him's real name is considered so terrifying that it's never disclosed, only mentioned in hushed tones. His personality is dark and ruthless, delighting in the suffering of others and treating everyone as mere playthings. Unlike other villains, Him learns from past mistakes and adapts his tactics accordingly, which sets him apart. His psychopathic, bitter, and domineering nature is tempered by his flamboyant demeanor and echoing feminine voice that shifts into a deep, authoritative tone when angered. Despite his malevolent nature though, he sometimes displays surprising politeness and even fatherly pride, particularly when his minions prove their ruthlessness. Him's powers are vast and seemingly limitless, ranging from teleportation and shape-shifting to mind control and energy blasts. He's also able to manipulate emotion. His ultimate goal is to spread chaos and destruction, making him a formidable opponent for the Powerpuff Girls. And despite his intimidating nature, Him has a weakness for beauty and perfection. I mean, who doesn't? In one episode, he becomes infatuated with the character of Miss Bellum, constantly trying to win her affection and taking on a more human-like form in order to do so. This reveals a vulnerable side to him, showing that even the most demonic villains can have their weaknesses. On to the next, the other mother from Coraline. This button-eyed doppelganger, known for her manipulative and controlling nature, is truly a figure of horror. Let's explore some of the captured child souls by Beldam. The tall ghost girl who possibly happens to be her first victim. The signs hint at her being from the early 1990s, combined with the Charlie Jones claim that the Pink Palace Apartments building is 150 years old. It's plausible that the Beldam originated somewhere between the mid-1800s and early 1900s. The term Beldam or Beldam is often associated with witches or hags, though they aren't exactly synonymous. Beldam is a word appearing in various global legends. In one such legend, God assigns Beldam, Muma Paduri, the role of guarding the forest and its inhabitants from human cruelty. Over time, Beldam, a forest spirit residing in an old woman's body, grows to despise irresponsible humans who destroy the very thing she protects. She scares and chases them away, but eventually she starts getting violent. Her daughter, the forest girl, lures young people to their passing in the forest. The Beldam also bears similarities to the fairy folk, especially those capable of casting glamour spells. These illusions make her other world seem appealing to Coraline and previous victims. Eating their food can cloud one's judgment, a dangerous sign pointed out in the original book. This notion aligns with fairy folklore where consuming fairy food can have severe consequences. The Adder Stone that Miss Spink gifts to Coraline, also known as Hagstone or Fairy Stone, is believed to ward off evil. Through its hole, one can see through illusions to find the truth, as Coraline did. Fairy circles, another feature like the ring of mushrooms around the well in the movie, are known as fairy traps, which are often disguised as enticing but are extremely perilous. Some argue that Coraline's fate was sealed the moment she stepped into the fairy circle, falling prey to the other mother. And finally, taking the top spot, we have Slender Man from various web series. This faceless figure lurking in the shadows has become an internet folklore horror icon. A supernatural being that took birth from the dark corners of the internet, courtesy of Eric Knudsen, a user on the Something Awful forum back in 2009. Picture this: an extraordinarily tall, skinny humanoid with a blank white face, clad in a black suit. This figure has been portrayed as a stalker, abductor, tormentor. Over time, Slender Man has navigated his way into pop culture, appearing in various forms of media, both offline and online, adapting to different narratives along the way. He's been featured in video series like Marble Hornets, video games such as Slender the 8 Pages and Slender the Arrival, and even appears as the Enderman in Minecraft. Slender Man has not been confined to the digital world, making his cinematic debut in the 2015 film adaptation of Marble Hornets, and then starring in his own movie in 2018. The Slender Man story took a sinister turn in 2014 when it was linked to real-world violence, a near-fatal stabbing incident involving a girl was said to be inspired by Slender Man, which sparked widespread panic and controversy. This incident further led to the creation of a documentary titled Beware the Slender Man, released in 2016. Now let's trace back to the origins of Slender Man. His conception took place on a Photoshop contest thread on Something Awful internet forum, where users had to create paranormal images. Eric Knudsen, under his internet alias Victor Surge, brought Slender Man to life by digitally inserting the spectral figure into black and white photographs of children alongside chilling descriptions of the characters of these children. Knudsen's creation soon took a life of its own as other users added to the lore, enhancing the creepiness of this supernatural being. The creation of Slender Man was influenced by a blend of various sources, including Stephen King's The Mist, the tall man from the movie Phantasm, the surreal work of William S. Burroughs, and survival horror video games like Silent Hill and Resident Evil. The idea was to create a character that instills terror and unease among the masses, with motivations that are hard to comprehend. Professor Shira Chess, in her book Folklore Horror Stories and the Slender Man, the Development of an Internet Mythology, draws parallels between Slender Man and ancient fairy folklore. Just like fairies, Slender Man is an enigmatic being with unclear motives, a shape-shifting appearance, and resides in the wilderness, often known to children. Much like the fairies, the Slender Man terrifies and fascinates, leaving a spine-chilling legacy in its wake. Now we've finally come to the end of the video, so let me know which character is the most interesting / creepy to you. Now drop your thoughts in the comments, but that is all for today. Until next time, I'm your host, Jonina.